I'm so cooked. I'm taking a massive risk looking like this and not establishing it on my YouTube that I am like this. So for anyone who watches me for a long time and sees me like this and they're thrown off by it, I'm sorry. I am really sorry. But yes, I am Lee gay and I am Lee queer. So yeah. L plus ratio. Why am I making this video? Today's topic is biphobia, specifically biphobia from the gay community, considering me a gay guy whose only dating history is bisexual men. I felt like my voice would be a unique perspective because I love watching videos on this topic. I watched TikTok, I watched Instagram Reels, I watched fucking YouTube videos, and it's all from the bisexual perspective, where it's a bisexual complaining, they don't feel welcome being heterosexual, they don't feel welcome being gay, and all the stuff that comes with that. I want to discuss how I at one point was biphobic, and I would uncautiously push the straight passing narrative from the LGBTQ community, and how I fixed myself, like how I did introspection and how I changed as a person and realized the error of my ways. Where to start with straight passing. What is straight passing? Straight passing, for those of you who don't know, is a term mostly in the LGBT community that targets bisexuals, in a sense, especially with the lesbian community, where you have a bisexual woman whose previous dating history is only exclusively to men, and a lot of lesbians get mad at that, and it's half of it is envious, half of it is jealousy, half of it is insecurities. I at one point had the same kind of opinion, but it was mostly uneducated. So where was my mindset back then before I did introspections? So my first two relationships with bisexual men weren't the greatest. My first one cheated on me with a woman, which that really fucks up your self-esteem as a gay guy. Second one, really strangely only liked watching straight porn. Like, whenever I showed him, two hot guys, 18 naked men and cowboys at Ram Ranch, he's like, ugh, yucky. So I developed this perspective that bisexuals are just people who look for, like, they just experiment around, and then eventually they're like, you know what, I'm straight, I want to have kids, I'm going to date a woman because I can impregnate them. This is from the perspective of a gay person. So there's that, and then there's also, my self-esteem was really crushed, so I'm showing the middle finger, unintentionally. I tried to, like, it felt like I was competing with, like, both genders. Like, I was like, fuck, like, am I inferior to women because they have wombs and, like, I can't get impregnated? Like, that kind of meant that type of shit. And lastly, this is gonna sound really weird, but I feel as if bisexuals are treated the same way as light-skinned people, like, in a sense where, like, they both are mixed in a sense, and both are the thing where they have to choose a side. You have to be straight or gay, you have to be white or black, right? So in a normal world where America was not built off the basis of racism, homophobia, heteronormativity, patriarchy, etc., this wouldn't be an issue. But because our history is so violent and, like, with racism and homophobia, we've developed like a sense of pride in our identities, where people are more than like, they're proud to be black, like they're empowered by their blackness. So a lot of people are empowered by being queer, they're empowered by being gay, mostly because of not just the historical context, but also with like their own personal upbringings. Like me, for example, I had to come out twice because for the first time my dad tried putting me into a gay conversion camp, so I kind of pretended I got fixed and I said, oh no, I'm straight now. Then the second time was much better. My dad still hates me, he doesn't love me, but that's besides the point. I have approval from my mom, and that's all that matters. So a lot of people wear that identity with honor, to the point where like they feel a deep-rooted resentment when there's a person who can just date the opposite gender. It's like, yeah, I like dudes, but I also like women. So if I know I'm bisexual and I am like in a place where I can probably find a gay guy, I can probably find a femboy, they'll just look for women because for them it's the easy way out. That was my mindset back then, and it is not a healthy mindset. Like, we need to distinguish, we need to validate trauma without blaming it on people. Like, yes, I had a really rough coming out. I am traumatized. I have trust issues, but that is not the bisexual's fault. And another point of contingency, another like healthy way to fix this kind of train of thought, is to tell yourself that when a bisexual is in a heterosexual relationship, it's not heterosexual. It's a bisexual relationship, because a heterosexual relationship is when two people who only exclusively date the opposite gender are dating. So it can't be heterosexual if one of the people is bisexual. It just does not work. It's considered a bisexual relationship. Same with homosexual. I would incline to say that my relationships were not homosexual, but bisexual, because I dated bisexual men, not gay men. There is a difference in that. So like, my current relationship is a pansexual relationship because I'm dating a pansexual. Makes sense, right? And the last thing I want to touch on, it kind of also goes into that whole, like picking the way out. So I associate queerness like also politically. I'm the cringe Marxist, haha, everything is a class struggle, yada, yada, yada. So for me, when I see bisexuals that choose the opposite sex over the same sex, my brain, at least at one point, was like, this guy is not for my cause. This guy is choosing being heteronormative than being queer. This guy is part of the patriarchy, if that makes sense. Which, thinking about it now, retrospectively, is completely stupid. You want to know why it's stupid? Here is why. People who are openly bisexual and like very proud and open about it, chances are they also had a rough experience coming out. They probably had family that told them, you're bisexual, you're gay. That kind of deal, right? And not just parents. There might be they might had exes that had something like that, where like they opened up to their ex saying, oh, actually I'm bisexual. Then the ex just like dumps them or breaks up with them. It's like, no, fuck you, faggot. Sorry. I can say that because I'm gay. I didn't mean it in a negative context, I swear. And with what I said there, it's better to tell yourself, if you're having this kind of like bias towards bisexuals. It's better to tell yourself that most, if not all, bisexuals who are open and proud have experienced something, like they have a struggle that is similar to gay people. And there's always that and. The partner who accepts their bisexuality to a certain extent is queer. There's no way for me to say it, but if you are honest with yourself and you accept your partner for being bisexual, chances are you are more open to the idea of expressing yourself outside of your gender norms. Like, you can have, a straight guy dating a bisexual woman, and he's not afraid of expressing his femininity. Those people are considered queer in my book. And it's even better if these people go to pride parades, for example, where there's a straight guy with a bisexual woman, and they both go to a pride parade and wave gay flags. I think that is the biggest reason why we have biphobia from the gay community. And I wanted to just make this video because I feel like all the videos on YouTube is centered around the bisexual struggle. So I want to make a video from the gay perspective, like how I used to think this way, and then I have, in retrospect, realized I was wrong, and I want to give my insight to my fellow gay and bisexual peeps. So hopefully, if you are feeling some kind of bias, or you have a trigger when someone says I'm bisexual, but most of my dating history is with the opposite sex. I know for a fact a lot of you guys get that fucking trigger, you have that flight or fight response whenever you hear that. And if you feel that way, my friend, that's the biasy. That is the biphobia within you, and you have to catch it, and you have to tell yourself, why am I angry? Why am I feeling this way? And then you deconstruct it every time. And I'm telling you right now, when you do that, you're going to realize I have trauma, I have trust issues, or I have a biasy. And the whole point of being a human is catching these and improving yourself to be a better person. Hopefully this video was insightful, and I wish for everyone in the comment section to have a healthy discourse on this. So tell me, guys, what do you think about this video and this topic? Adios.